Hey guys, so today's video is a bit different. I got a comment that the Chinese I'm using now, simplified Chinese I'm using and I'm sharing with you guys now, is flawed. And everybody should start with traditional Chinese. So, in today's video, I'm going to talk about why you probably don't need to learn about traditional Chinese. And I will cover it from several angles, like its practicality, why it's more practical to learn simplified Chinese, which one will be harder, and the reason simplified Chinese is created in the first place, and finally, why it's not a culturally flawed inheritage. First, my point is no language should be called flawed. Well, it has its own heritage from old its historical origin. And it's just like not many people should say that and would say, okay? American English, which is simpler spelled than the British English, but American English is not like flawed, right? It's not like we are using simplified Chinese and we totally cut the traditional Chinese off. We never see that. It's not like that, okay? And the way of learn the traditional first and then learn simplified, it's just extra chore, you know? It's like in English, deja vu. It's origin in French, I think. It's not like you need to learn French in advance before you learn about English, right? And of course, it's not I say that you shouldn't learn traditional Chinese at all. We in daily life still encounter some of them, some characters, and in our dictionaries, our local dictionaries, the traditional version will be marked next to the simplified version. It's like I said, it's not like hard cut and throw all the traditional Chinese away. No, we did not do that, okay? It's not a conspiracy for us to ditch our historical inheritance, okay? And if you want to study more about the ancient literature and calligraphy of its own, well, then you probably need to learn traditional Chinese. I'll give you that. But for most people who are just want to communicate better and understand some daily uses, that you can come to China mainland, China, and you can go around and talk to people, then I would say you probably don't need to learn traditional Chinese. And here is why. First, it's practicality. The fact is there are more people using simplified Chinese worldwide, not just in China mainland, I believe. Certainly more people using it, and it's one of the official languages that's recognized by the UN, United Nations. And if your purpose is to go to these places, then you probably don't need to know anything about traditional Chinese at all. Even the other books from ancient history, we have those books that are simplified. If you want to read them, it's in simplified form. But if your main goal is to settle in places like Taiwan, then you need to learn that because they do not use simplified Chinese. Okay, they use traditional Chinese. And number two, before I say anything, just look at these two sentences. At the above, it's the traditional version, and on the bottom, it's the simplified version. And you can see plain and simple which one for foreigners for a language learner would be much more easy to learn and to remember. It's obviously the simplified version. It's just easier to write and to remember how it's written. And here in China, we also recognize these characters, but we do not like actually write them. If you put those in a sentence, we know what's its meaning and how to read them. But when we do our own writings, we won't write those because it's just too complicated, a bit complicated and hard to write. And I think that will be happen to you too. I believe most of the people who are watching my video are used to like Latin characters in your own language. And I believe the simplified version will be more acceptable for you to learn. Okay, so if you are familiar with the simplified version, it's easy to go to the more traditional version. Okay, because there are connections why they simplify it in this way. Okay, and also the traditional Chinese and simplified Chinese share a different system of pinyin system. I believe the most of the videos, courses, tapes out there, they are all used in simplified version, pinyin. Okay, and because more people are using it, there will be more courses and more accessible for you guys to get materials to learn, which is also an advantage to learn the simplified version. And third, why it's created in the first place. It has many reasons why it created this version of Chinese. But there's one main reason. You see, before, in 100 years ago, 50, 80 years ago, education is really limited. According to my parents, which they come from a small town, their grandparents, it's only like finished elementary school level of education. And that will be the only a few person that get educated in the whole town. Okay, like in 70, 60 years ago, most people are illiterate. They cannot read, write, they just can speak, like daily communications. So just like you guys learning how to write Chinese characters, those farmers, or in that time, they are not able to learn those complicated words. Like, for example, this term is harvest. At the above is the traditional version, and at the bottom is the simplified version. You can see how much of the difference they can learn that. Okay, it'll be easier for all these not educated and not wealthy, who not able to get education. Those poor people, they can learn which faster. And one of the main reasons why they created the simplified version of Chinese is to make people more educated. And I really feel upset that comment said it's some conspiracy led by the Communist Party. Well, this benefits a lot of the poor people, a lot of the illiterate people would be, okay? It has its own meaning, and stop being so arrogance and ignorance and prejudice about another country you never lived in and never read a few history books about this country. There was a time that most people, like 70 of the whole population. The people are illiterate. All the education resources are held by the upper level. You get the idea. It took a role in getting all those people to learn and get the characters. Okay, and of course there are other reasons, but I want to address this one. For one last topic, one last thing, is simplified Chinese abandon its historical inheritance? No, people keep saying that it's abandoned all the characters from ancient times to right now. You can see we come from the back of a turtle, oracle, to the characters right now. It has many changes. For the first ever used by the whole country will be the small seal script. Now you can see the pictures here. And then that's used in Qing Dynasty. And when to go to Han Dynasty, then people use official script. It comes from that and it's different, but no one says it's abandonment of the historical heritage. And from then on, well, it didn't change much. It just different types of writing. They are just like Times New Roman or Arial Black, Papyrus. They are just different writing techniques and stuff. They are not related to the characters. And now, because what I just said, it came from traditional to the ones I'm using now, which is simplified. Did we abandon that? To me, it's more like go from Oracle to small seal script to the official script. I think I'll be more close to that. And in that comment, it kept saying 六书, which is 6 ways of creating a character. Okay? Well, you can still see that in the simplified version. Like creating a character that looks like the thing. Okay? Here's the character turtle. Turtle in both traditional and simplified. You can see the simplified version simplified a lot of the original traditional character, but you can still see why it's turtle. But I believe some are lost in the process of simplified because there was a time they used like second simplified version that would be more simplified. You can see this character Tan means dining. It has its second version of simplified. It's more simplified, but I will abandon that. I believe that in that abandonment there's the thinking of the cultural inheritance and all those stuff. You can pick which version you want to learn, but my opinion is for most people out there who just want to communicate and learn a new language and not like in research of this language specifically, well, simplified Chinese is the way for you to go. It's simpler, it's more accessible, it's more practical. Okay, and I don't want to see anything like saying a language is flawed. Well, it's arrogance, and especially you did not know the whole picture. And that's all for this video. Have a nice day.